The concept of chord extensions is one I think that just does need explaining, and things like voicings, extensions, voicing. What are those? Well, let's go back to our C minor, C, E flat and G. That's fine. But thinking back to our C minor scale, I'm going to pick the Dorian mode to explain this one. I can add any of those notes to my C minor to create thicker chords, thicker versions of the same thing, or more expensive versions. This is the bog standard supermarket C minor. And then you get your sort of Fortnum and Mason C minor. Now, there are various ways of doing this. If I add all the extensions, that is, all the other notes of the scale, and then finishing 2 octaves above where I started, essentially all of the notes in the scale are contained in that chord. But of course, I need 2 hands to play that chord. So you think, well, okay, how am I going to do this? If I'm playing the bass or something, how am I going to fit all these notes in? And that's where voicings come in. The essential concept being that you can divide the work up between the hands, but you can also take notes away. Now, C minor. The most important note in this chord, besides the root note, is the one that says it's minor, which is the E flat. The G is the 5th of C, which is inherent in its harmonic content. If I play that G, but just hold it down like that so no sound comes out, and then I hit the C, the G resonates because it's part of the harmonic series, so you don't need it in your C minor chord. That's C minor, that's absolutely fine. That means that I've saved myself a note, so I can stick the 9th in C minor with an added 9th. That is different from C minor 9, because C minor 9 implies that the 7th needs to be there as well. But still C minor, really. I could have this, where I've got C, E flat, which is my C minor, I've got my 7th, and I have my 11th as well. Notice that these numbers are higher than the 7th. It's not 4th. C minor sus4 doesn't really make any sense, whereas C minor 11 does. The fact that it's higher up on paper doesn't matter. You can bring it down to the same octave as the rest of your chord. Now I can have C minor 6th. Notice the number below 7, 6. If I have C minor 7 with the added 6th, it becomes C minor with a 13, C minor 7 bracket 13. Oh. Now, I could also have, let's C minor 9. The 9, or any 7 chord that's written, implies you can add stuff. So if I've got C minor and C minor 7, really, I'm going to add my left hand, because I've also taken the root away, hence the name that you may have heard, Rootless Inversions or Rootless Voicings. Basically, you just need to imagine that the bass is there, and the bass in context to this is my root, or my root in the 5th. Or I could have root and 7th in the left hand, which is a common sort of jazz piano thing, where it enables you to then stick all the other stuff in your right hand, and then you've got not only a balanced thing with your hands, but it also sounds a little bit nicer, a little bit more solid. Now you can repeat notes. That's absolutely fine. It's not a waste of a note, but you could try something else. For example, the 13th at the top. Or I've taken away the 9th there. Now Now this is where all these combinations come into play. You've got thousands of combinations of playing these notes. Well, not thousands, but you know what I mean. There's lots of ways of doing this, and that's what a voicing is. It's about using degrees of that C minor that we had. It's about using various degrees in various combinations. That's what a voicing is. That's C minor. That is just, C minor. But it depends on the context. If somebody's trying to sing over the top of something, you don't want somebody going, you just go, yeah, shut up. Whereas something like this, C minor, the irony is that you can actually take that E flat, which is important in C minor, a very common sort of jazz version of playing a minor chord is actually to play 1, 4 and 5 only. Because the fourth, you wouldn't get in a major chord. Because the fourth is right next to the third and is in direct conflict with it. Whereas that fourth there can be right next to can be next to your major third because it's a whole tone away. So you could imply that it's minor even though the E flat is not there. Especially also if you combine it with the minor chord as well, that sort of reinforces it. So you get these things in major chords as well, but this kind of ties in with my other two videos which are on my channel. Please do subscribe. The first one was about minor scales, and then we had chords in a minor key, and then the extensions to go with that to kind of explain the concept of using these other notes in varying combinations.